For the third quarter report, I just wanted to start off with a brief overview of Board Policy 119. This is the policy that the board has that requires the administration to come to the board on a quarterly basis to provide periodic updates of the financial situation. This is the same policy that also has us prepare monthly financial statements to include in the board packet. And so for the new board members, this is what we do and why we do it. But in terms of the investment report, in your board portal and what you have in your before you is a brief summary of what our financial advisor, PFM, is providing as an update. In terms of a market update for this quarter, the economy is doing well, and as you can see from the notes, things are chugging along. For portfolio review, you'll see in a minute we have a well-diversified set of investments. We have improving yields, and we're in compliance with the college's investment policy, state statutes, and the applicable federal tax code. And the future outlook is, while the economy has been slowing a little bit, it's still projected to be doing well, and so we're optimistic going forward. As you can see from this summary dashboard, the portfolio totals about $86 million. We're getting very healthy yields as compared to what we would see a year ago or the past several years. So earnings are doing well. You can see that the portfolios are diversified across various sectors, in terms of treasuries and agencies and corporate bonds. And we also have a good, diverse credit quality selection that's all within the highest rating categories. And the duration of the portfolio is fairly short, which is good. It's a rising interest rate environment, so we're in a very conservative posture. In terms of our budget projections, or status for this year, third quarter is doing very well. Revenues are trending as expected, and expenses are consistent with prior year. And as you can see from the graphic, it basically tells the same story. Revenues and expenses are in line with what we've expected. And when you look at the detail a little more carefully, revenues, you can see the various categories of revenues, expected to actual, very close variance there. And the same thing on the expenditure side. You'll see spending well within line with expected. We have a very strong positive variance, so we did do a $8.4 million transfer. That's not reflected into that positive variance, but overall, the third quarter results are on track. A new element that we're adding to this report, we did want to bring up the CERS penalty issue on a regular basis to the board so you can see where we're at. You'll notice on this chart that the overall penalties are down as compared to the prior year. Though there is a new category that we're paying. It's the earnings that exceed the governor's salary. The employers are required to pay that portion of the CERS contribution pursuant to that new law that took effect this fiscal year. And so overall, we're on track with the CERS penalties. And then that just, brief recap of the report. Any questions? I know the details are in the report.
We'll move on to item 6, approval of board policies and objectives. 6.1, fiscal year 2020, meeting dates on pages 5 through 6. Please note that we do have a request from the trustee to shift the proposed August 27th, 2019 meeting to August 20th, 2019.
Is that okay with the administration? Can you guys do an August 20th meeting? Then I'm the trustee that asked for that, if it was at all possible.
All right, well, let's get a motion on the table.
Well, I'll make a motion with that inclusion of the August 20th, 2019 meeting. I make a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Yeah, Amanda was looking at the dates.
Yeah, should be okay.
Did it work out?
So changing to what, the 20?
August
20th.
20th.
And the 27th to the 20th. Matt, okay?
Should be okay.
Roll call.
Ms. Waheed?
Aye.
Ms. Shiroka?
Aye.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Finger?
Aye.
Dr. Durkin?
Aye.
Ms. Howland?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
All right. Item 6.2 is the policy 974 employee expense reimbursements, non-travel. The new second reading on pages 7 through 9. Let's get a motion on the table and then we can discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, now discussion. Okay. Hearing none, roll call.
Ms. Waheed? Absent. Ms. Soroka?
Aye.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Finger?
Aye.
Dr. Griffin?
Aye.
Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
Item 6.3 is a policy 975, this use of unmanned aircraft systems. UAS drone. I guess we have some drones flying around. Is that right, folks? Ken, is that right?
Yes, we do. In fact, this recommended policy came to us because of the fact that faculty have begun using drones in instruction. And we also had found some drones on the roofs of our buildings. We realized that'd be something we might want to get our arms around. And our risk manager, Dave Gallo, had kind of recommended that it'd be good for the board to have a policy in this area. Chief Tom Gunther chaired a committee that represented faculty and staff, reviewing statutes and various policies around the state, created this draft recommended policy as well as developed procedures to be used to help implement the policy.
This is the first reading, so is there any comments or any suggestions?
I liked it, and I like the fact that it does address both internal use of drones with our staff as well as external, and it's clearly prohibited and will be marked. I think that's important to have a clear statement to non-CLC folks. So I thought that was well done.
Thank you.
Any others? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Item section 7, approval of financials. First up is resolution approving reimbursement of travel, meal, and lodging expenses. May I seek a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments, questions? Roll call.
Ms. Waheed? Absent. Ms. Soroka?
Aye.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Finger?
Aye.
Dr. Griffin?
Aye.
Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
Next is item 7.2, resolution approving and ratifying bills, authorizing budget transfers, and accepting monthly financial reports. Let's seek a motion on that as
So moved. Second.
well. Okay, comments? Roll call.
Ms. Waheed? Absent. Ms. Soroka?
Aye.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Finger?
Aye.
Dr. Griffin?
Aye.
Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
7.3, resolution authorizing a permanent transfer of interest earned from the working cash on the educational fund. I'll seek a resolution, or a motion for 7.3, please.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Comments?
I just appreciate the data that you gathered, so thank you for that. It's good to have that historical look. So thanks.
Roll call.
Ms. Waheed? Absent. Ms. Soroka?
Aye.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Finger?
Aye.
Dr. Griffin?
Aye.
Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
7.4 is approval of treasury bonds. Let's seek a motion for that.
So moved. Second.
Comments? Roll call.
Ms. Waheed? Absent. Ms. Soroka?
Aye.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Finger?
Aye.
Dr. Griffin?
Aye.
Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
And 7.5 is a resolution authorizing use of available operations and maintenance fund restricted balances. May I have a motion on that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Comments, questions?
I have a question. So CNC 110 is not going to be able to be here. They're getting their equipment possibly from the high school technology campus.
So CNC 110 is typically delivered at the high school technology campus, but it's delivered in the evenings when the tech campus isn't in operation.
Okay.
In talking with the tech campus, their daytime hours, we will not be able to utilize that space because renovations, they're moving other students in the school to that location. So we need to equip a different lab in a different location with equipment. We haven't finalized the list, we're still working with the tech campus. If there is surplus equipment there that we can move, we will move some of it, but we will likely have to purchase something. What we can't do is remove all of the equipment because we still have to deliver the classes in the evening. So we're still in the final discussions. This amount that is requested would be the maximum amount. However, it's highly likely we wouldn't be up to this level.
I was just curious about,
Yeah.
are you gonna offer it at a high school or?
Yeah,
it
so
even said a business.
Lake
possibly, or-
Zurich and Mundelein high schools are in the process of securing facilities. I
Okay.
have a conference call tomorrow morning with them.
Okay.
But because this is a career-focused workforce partnership, if these students will take our courses as dual credit, and then they will do an apprenticeship, paid apprenticeship in the employers. There are 3 partners. So one of those 3 partners may be the ones to provide the space.
I see.
So
Okay.
that's all being finalized right now.
Okay.
Good question.
Okay.
Any other questions? Comments? Roll call.
Ms. Wahid?
Abstain.
Ms. Soroka?
Aye.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Finger?
Aye.
Dr. Griffin?
Aye.
Ms. Howland?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
Next is section 8, approval of purchasing. We've got a lot of things there. I'll try to take it in two groups here. First of all, 8.1, the biddable items, ratify purchase, delivery, and installation of chemical trainers, rebid BGTM LLC, doing business as Moss Enterprises, pneumatic training systems, advanced technology consultants, nursing examination preparation software. This is the Assessment Technology Institute. Online market research, rebid the management consulting group. Purchase of the 2019 Ford F-350 truck from Highland Park Ford. And in this group, let's do collection of services, MR Systems Corporations. So can I seek a motion on that group, please?
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions on that?
Yeah, I have questions on 2 different items.
Okay.
One is just curiosity's sake for the bid on the mechatronics piece, the Amatrol trainer. We just had the one bidder, and we went through the process twice. Did we get the same bidder both times?
It's my understanding, yes.
Okay. And was it just one bidder because it's kind of an unusual commodity? I noticed a couple of these tech pieces, we just had one bidder. They're just kind of unusual, so to speak?
Who knows? That's exactly the same question I was going to ask.
Okay, because that's
Because
kind of rare for us.
the pneumatic trainer system and the
Advanced
Amatrol
technology,
trainers,
right
both,
on, right.
there's only one bidder, and it's not like we didn't have a non-responsive bidder. There was only one bidder, so, and it says they reached out to several other firms,
Right.
but nobody else bid, and I'm wondering
Just
why.
curious, yeah, I was curious about that.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure. I know that the academic department that was involved in this worked hard to try to find other options, and this is the only one that was, meeting their particular needs.
It is a fairly specialized piece of
What I
equipment,
thought.
so it's not carried by a lot of suppliers.
Okay. Then my second question, totally unrelated, is on the collection services bit. I was just curious, and I apologize for not asking this in advance, and if you can just get back to me, that's okay. But I love it that we're going through the collection agency. I know we talked about that. I think it's a good move. I'm just curious, do we know overall what the outstanding debt is that we're looking at, just a range?
Me too. Do you want to answer?
And how much we collect?
You-
It's fairly good. I can't speak off the top.
I'm sorry, I should have asked you ahead of time.
I'd
Yeah.
be happy to send you a.
That'd be
I can
awesome.
send it to you.
I think it's a good
Yeah.
number. I
I'm
appreciate
sorry.
that. No,
But our
I am.
collection, it's been pretty good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any others?
Yeah, that was my same question, Catherine. And then, I'm just curious, for Gabe's construction, for consulting services for the antenna, the budget amount was way higher than the bid amount. And I just found that, how come that was so out of whack?
So as you can see, there was quite a variety in terms of the responses, and
Yeah.
the effort was one of trying to scope it to an appropriate amount. This is for design services for work that will later be done that's going to be significantly more expensive. And we went out ahead of time and asked a couple organizations for proactive pre-bid quotes to try and get a range. And then the actual quotes came in lower than that. And I don't know all the reason why these 3 came in low and the others came in so much higher. They seem to understand the same scope. It was a tightly written RFP, but they came back with different amounts. we obviously went with not the top three and looked at the lowest cost three. It chose Gates Construction, especially since they had experience within the state of Illinois in the Toro LLC, which I believe is housed in Minneapolis, claimed to have experience in Rockford, but when we investigated more, they simply had a presence in Rockford but hadn't done any work in the state. So we wanted to go with the second lowest responsible bidder.
No, and that's perfectly fine. I was just looking at the budgeted amount that was.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will be part, so this is the first part of a two-step process.
Okay.
As I mentioned, this design work will help us understand what we want to implement. The implementation work is going to be significantly more expensive and consume
And-
most of that 1.5 million.
So that's the budgeted amount that.
For the entire process. for both.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question.
Okay,
Good question.
thank you.
Anything else? Okay.
Ms. Wahid?
Abstain.
Ms. Soroka?
Aye.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Finger?
Aye.
Dr. Griffin?
Aye.
Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
The next item, media buying professional services, Jordan, Ross and Rose. Voice and data communication services, Comcast Business Communications, LLC. The annual audio visual purchase installation, Homes of VIP66 Incorporated. Palo Alto Software Purchase, CDW Government LLC, and consulting services for distributed antenna services, Gabe's Construction Inc. Seek a motion for those, please.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions?
Any reason why our original person in the voice and data communication, the original company, didn't bother to send in a bid that was actually responsive?
Yes, so that was, I'm sorry, let me jump back to that because that is
That TDS
yeah,
Deckercom?
They did not send a responsive bid. We had a very clear proposal that they were supposed to fill out.
Mhm.
They chose to fill out a separate form which didn't answer all the questions, so we considered them to be non-responsive. Even though they did submit a response, it wasn't according to the specifications we put together.
You would think if they were already here and working with us that they would want to keep that, but apparently not.
One would think, yes.
Apparently not. Okay. And the second question on the distributed antenna services is similar to what Trustee Soroka said earlier. We're awarding a $22,000 contract to Gabe Construction, but the budgeted amount is for $1.5 million.
Correct. So what we will see is the second phase of the same budgeted piece is the equipment and the services for installation of the distributed antenna system on all three campuses is where the majority of the expense lies, and that will be closer to the expected 1.5 million. This is just the design services
Okay.
to understand what those specifications would be and what type and where those antennas should be laid.
Okay. Other questions? Roll call.
Ms. Wahid?
Abstain.
Ms. Soroka?
Aye.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Finger?
Aye.
Dr. Griffin?
Aye.
Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
Item 8.2, non-biddable items. We have 3. Consulting services for Actress, perhaps, Incorporated. And the executive search for firm, Holly Group Incorporated, to begin the search for the Vice President of Academic Affairs. And media buys, which you have a list in front of you. So I'll seek a motion for those 3 items.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions?
I like the fact that the funds are already within the budgeted amount on the media buys. We don't have to add anything additional.
I'm glad to see the contract with Tactus. I think that individual will be a good job for the College of the County.
Yeah, I think so too. Good to help you, Mike, with things and others?
Bringing them out of retirement.
Yep. Good. for you.
Short-lived, wasn't it?
It was short-lived.
Okay, motion, all right, roll call.
Ms. Wahid?
Abstain.
Ms. Soroka?
Aye.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Finger?
Aye.
Dr. Griffin?
Aye.
Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
And 8.3, disposable, pages 58 through 59. Let's have a motion for that as well.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any comments or questions? Roll call.
Ms. Wahid?
Abstain?
Ms. Soroka?
Aye.
Mr. Stanton?
Aye.
Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Dr. Finger?
Aye.
Dr. Griffin?
Aye.
Ms. Holland?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.